I'm the truth. I'm the truth.
Yo. We in this motherfucker tonight, or this morning, or this evening, whatever the time of the day it is. We here. With the big bill. Today we are doing chapter 5 of Be As You Are by Sri Ramana Maharshi. It's up now. Now we get into the practical method of Be As You Are by Sri Ramana Maharshi. We've been leading up to it. Rose of Flame, peace, mad love. Been a minute. Hope everything been good on your end. Hope everything has been good. Mothra, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Y'all let me know how my audio sound. Let me know if the audio sound pretty decent, whatnot. And we're gonna get this thing rolling. Everybody check in. Let me know how the audio sounds. If the sound. If the sound, god damn it, we rolling around. Peace to all those moose knuckles. What is happening? Give them soul. What's happening? As you said, Rosa Flame, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. We standing up. We standing up. Give me 1 second, y'all. We got some water. All right. All right, so the sound good. Let's roll with it. Hold up. Just had tacos. Let's turn that music off in the background. I don't know if that's annoying to y'all or not, but getting annoying to me. So, as y'all know, also, I inspired Travis Mages. Travis Mages inspired the fuck out of me too. So what we're gonna have, if y'all check the description, hold up. The Self-Enquiry is what we're doing today. Chapter 5, right? We actually have, I built out a PDF. Zero, peace. I built out a PDF file that you can download and go over. And I am about to add that to the chat. It's actually in the description already. So if you don't mind, take out ads to the description. But let me add the link into the chat. I think I need to go on YouTube actually. Type it in. Boom. That message is pinned. I need for y'all to check that and make sure that it's actually working. If you can click on it. And there's also a walkthrough video, a bonus video. Bonus video is in there. So y'all let me know if y'all can click on that link. Somebody in the chat, click on that link and let me know if you're able to access it. So I won't call it necessarily a study guide, but more so of a walkthrough of what self-inquiry is, which is, according to Sri Ramana Maharshi, the only way to do away with the ego. All other things are just factions of playing around with the mind. Playing around with the mind, giving the ego actually something to do that keeps it alive. And don't worry about it if this is your first time coming, you will understand this. Because that's exactly what this chapter is about. So you open it up, you will be able to receive this. This right here is what you're going to receive. And there's also a video that I took time to write the script out to that you can download and watch. I don't know if it's going to let you download, but you'll be able to watch. Thank God. I'm working on. I'll be able to help. Check. Oh no, you good? You good, bro? You good? Who else working? If your ass not working, we on YouTube, y'all. So you ain't tapped in on YouTube. That's where the real magic's happening. Who's not working? I need y'all to check that link. Whoever's not working, I need y'all to check that link and let me know how that works. Or if it's working. Before we hop into the chapter. All right. Boom. We can get back to this. Let's see, remove that. Add that back to the stage. Link worked. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we got the link working. Y'all remember how we ended it off on the last one? All right. If not, let's go to this last question and answer right here. All right. What was simply stated, profoundly stated, you know what I'm saying? We get into the practice aspect of it today, but let's do like that last recap because that was profoundly stated, right? Says, why is self-inquiry more direct than other methods? The link in the video work. Okay, bet. All right. So it posed a question at the end of the chapter, which leads into the beginning of this next chapter, right? Why is self-inquiry more direct than other methods? Attention to one's own self, which is ever shining as I, represented as I, right? The one undivided and pure reality is the only raft with the individual who is deluded by thinking I am the body. Matter of fact, what he's saying is that's the only thing that's holding you back. It is that I, it is that ego, it is that mind that has taken identification with the body. This is the core teaching of non-duality. The core teaching, the core message, the core understanding of non-duality is to understand that you are not the body, nor are you the mind. And everything that you do is attached to I am this body and I am this mind. That's very key to understand. All right. So you deluded by that thinking I am the body. Hold up. Who is deluded by thinking I am the body can cross the ocean of unending births. So he's saying basically that's what keep your ass reincarnating because you believe that you are the body and you believe that you are the mind. So you believe you're going to keep coming back. Reality is simply the loss of ego. Reality is simply the loss of ego. The ultimate reality is what? Sat Chit Ananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss. Those are not three different aspects. They're one thing. And that is reality, the raw, real reality itself. Devoid of Maya, the illusion, the ego, the mind. Destroy the ego by seeking its identity. Because the ego is no entity. Listen, because the ego is no entity, it will automatically vanish. In reality, will shine forth by itself. Reality will shine forth by itself. So the ego is like clouds blocking the actual reality that you are. Pure pure unconditioned consciousness, pure awareness. The ego is the only thing that's blocking it. Right? Because we know over here, we know what the mind and the ego does. This is the direct method, whereas all other methods are done only to retain the ego. So all other meditation methods are all done to retain the ego, to keep the ego afloat. He's saying none of these other meditative methods sticks it to the ego, kicks the ego right in the nads, right in the nuts, right in the nutsack. And once you understand the practice, you will understand, right? In those paths, there arise so many doubts, and the eternal question, who am I, remains to be tackled finally. But in this method, the final question is the only one. Listen, that's why I say this path is simple, not easy, but simple. It's simple because it's only one thing. Only thing you're doing here is asking, who am I? That's what I tell. That's what we talk about here. When you understand that, once your so-called spiritual journey started, the first question was, who am I, and what is this place that I live in that's being called the Matrix? That's the only question in this path, the direct path, which is really no path at all, ultimately. So that's the direct question to be asked, who am I? And that's the only question. But in this method, the final question is the only one, and it is raised from the beginning. No sadhanas are necessary for an engaging in the quest. There is no greater mystery than this, that being the reality we seek to gain. There is no greater mystery than this. I don't care what spiritual systems are talking about. The greatest mystery is to understand who the fuck I am. And that so-called God, that so-called deity, that so-called source, universe, whatever new age name we have given it, consciousness, whatever name we have given it, that's what we're seeking. Love. All of those are synonymous. Unconditional love is synonymous with this same thing here. No matter what questions we have, the ultimate question will always be, who the fuck am I? And that's what we're seeking to gain. We think that there is something hiding our reality and that it must be destroyed before the reality is gained. You think you need to destroy the matrix. You think you need to escape the matrix. You do not need to escape no matrix. That is what we're going to learn here. There's nothing you need to escape. There's nothing you need to destroy. It is ridiculous, is what he said. A day will dawn when you will laugh, when you yourself will laugh at your past efforts. That will be on the day you laugh, is also here and now. That's what we get into today. You're gonna laugh at this spiritual path that you thought you were taking. You're gonna laugh at that. You're gonna laugh at yourself. Once you figure out there is no spiritual path that you're taking. Once you figure out there is no spiritual path that you're taking, you ain't got no choice but to laugh. You were looking for God, but God was there the whole time. You ain't gonna have no choice but to laugh. It's gonna be funny to you. It's actually the funniest things, thinking that you're actually looking for something. But that comes over time. You know what I'm saying? It's not automatic, systematic for everybody. It wasn't automatic, systematic for me as well. That comes over time with the intense desire to find oneself, or the intense desire to find God. And obviously, over here, we already understand it's not about you not using profanity no more, and not eating a certain food no more, and drinking alkaline water, and knowing every sign and symbol. Some of that, those things may happen, but you will get to the end and find out, like, oh, it had nothing to do with none of that shit. It had nothing to do with me getting alkaline water and drinking fucking sea moss. Those things are good, but none of those will lead if I just done any of those directly. If I just eat the best food, if I just drink the best water, if I just semen retain for fucking ever, none of those are going to lead me to self-realization. Facts. What Mothra just said. Gotta walk the path. Gotta walk the path to see there is no path. You gotta start walking it first, and then you'll figure it out. You ain't gonna figure it out just by a motherfucker telling you ain't no path. That's why a lot of people reject when I say that shit. Facts. Felt like I took the long way around to end up where I started. There was no goal to achieve and nowhere to go. You went nowhere. There was no goal other than you. You are the goal. There is no greater mystery than this, that being the reality we seek, we gain to by being the reality we seek to gain reality. By being the reality we seek to gain reality. You are already that. That's why the name of this book is Be As You Are. You are already that. You are already that. So today we get into chapter 5. We get into chapter 5, y'all. Let's see here. Oh, Rose of Flame says simple but not easy. It's a good one. Facts. Because that's exactly what this shit is. I definitely can't say that it's easy, but it's fucking simple. Super fucking simple. All right. Chapter 5. Self-Enquiry. The practice. Let's read what Zero said before I go. That's why before enlightenment, climb the mountain, chop the wood, and carry the water. After enlightenment, climb the mountains, chop the wood, and carry the fucking water. After enlightenment, you're going to be doing, the body will be doing the same thing. He's going to speak about that. I don't want to jump ahead of myself. We're going to speak about that after the fact, right? You'll understand something heavily that needs to be understood. Cool. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? If y'all just joining, please click that link. I was inspired again by Trav. Trav is inspired by me. I was inspired by him. We inspire each other just as well as you motherfuckers in the chat inspire all of us. We are inspired. And to be inspired today, we have a surprise for you in the chat. So click that link, that Google Doc link. Watch that video after this. If y'all want to watch it after the session, we can watch it. But other than that, I want y'all to watch it on your own time. And also click, there's a PDF breakdown of the spiritual practice that we do here that is called self-inquiry. Who am I? Who the fuck am I? Sunshine Chick. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Oh, that's a dope picture right there, Sunshine Chick. Oh, that's hard. We all playing around with this AI. I don't know what nigga gonna do running around here being scared of AI. We having fun with it. All right. Is my audio good? Let's make sure the audio good and the visual is good on the screen as well. I need y'all to tap in with me. Let me know how we sounding, how we looking, how you feeling. How you feeling? Drop some SOPs in the chat if the audio and the video is good. I need some SOPs in the chat before I continue. Is the audio and the video good? Is the audio and video good? You know, compadre. And also IG. We get the fuck up off IG then. Go to TikTok. Audio is great. Let's go with the video. All right. TikTok be fucking with the game. I don't know how to do all that shit. All right, they say SOP, everything good, everything good, everything good in the hood. That's how we rocking. That's how we rocking like a cut off stocking. Let's do it. So it said, chapter 5, right? Chapter 5. Beginners in self-inquiry were advised by Sri Ramana to put their attention on the inner feeling of I and to hold that feeling as long as possible. So that's key. So you're not looking for a vision of I. You're not looking for a word that says, oh, I'm I. Hey, look over here. I'm I. I am that I. You will get something like that, but you're not looking for that. The I that we're looking for, the key to spirituality is understanding who am I. The I that we're looking for is more of an inner feeling. When we talk about inner feeling, we're talking more of an intuitive feeling. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for this intuitive feeling of this I. And he says they will be told that if their attention was distracted by other thoughts, they should revert to the awareness of the I thought itself. Whenever they become aware that their attention had wandered. So whenever you become aware in this process that your attention has wandered off from that I, pull that attention back to that I, because you will start to get different thoughts. Oh, what should I eat tomorrow? Oh, damn, I gotta pay this bill. Damn, I do gotta get some new tires. Damn, I did get a ticket the other day. Damn, I am hungry. Damn, I am horny. Damn, I am this. Damn, I am that. Damn, I need to hit the gym. All of those thoughts will come up because why? You have to understand why this process takes place. This process takes place because the ego doesn't want you to focus on it. The mind doesn't want you to focus on it. It doesn't want you to put that attention towards it because it's going to do something. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but we're going to get there, right? He suggests various aids to assist this process. One can ask oneself, who am I? Right? You should be asking, or you could ask, who am I? Or where does this I come from? Who is that? Who said that? Y'all done seen that trend on TikTok and Instagram and all that? Who is that? Who said that? It's something like that, like inquiring to this I who is doing all the talking, who's doing all the attachment, who's coming up with all these ideas and these concepts that you ultimately end up not tapping into, but attaching yourself to. But the ultimate aim was to continuously be aware of the I, which assumes that it is responsible for all the activities of the body and mind. So you get what he's saying here, right? Yes, you should be asking, who am I? For those who are on TikTok, we are on IG. And I honestly would prefer y'all to come, not IG, but we on YouTube. I honestly would prefer y'all to come to YouTube so y'all can actually get the visual as well. But this is what he's saying here. So you can continuously ask the question of I and who am I and where does this I come from? But the source of this practice is for you to you have to continuously be aware of this I. This is the only way to know thyself. Is to actually directly go straight to the I. Now you may go to other spiritual paths, which we say that may take way longer. It may take you way longer, but this is a direct path to the I. It's the first and the last and the only fucking question to ask on the direct path. This whole book that we're reading, all the videos that I drop and talk about are all talking about this I. That's why I say if you get the understanding of the mind, you can understand all spiritual systems. And you can keep and stop playing around with all these concepts and get straight down to the motherfucking nitty gritty. What's the nitty gritty? It's the I. It's the I thought. But you'll notice how people will run from it, how you would run from it. You, as the body and mind, would run from asking the questions, who am I? So, in the early stages of practice, attention of the feeling I is a mental activity which takes the form of a thought or a perception. Do you hear this? In the early stages of practice, attention to the feeling I is a mental activity which takes the form of a thought or a perception. So, starting off, that's what it'll be like. As the practice develops, the thought I gives away to a subjective, experienced feeling of I. And when this feeling ceases to connect and identify with thoughts and object, it completely vanishes. Because we have to understand what is this ego? What is this mind? What is this ego and what is this mind? It's a thought that attaches itself to thoughts. It's the creator of thoughts, and then it attaches itself to thoughts, to these concepts. And there, my friend, is the source of your suffering. That's the source of your suffering. That's the source of your hurt. That's the source of your pain. That's the source of this shit. So if you find the source of suffering, pain, and you can nip that motherfucker right in the bud. Why wouldn't you go straight ahead to it? So after we do that and find out that that identity vanishes, what remains is an experience of being in which the sense of individuality has temporarily ceased to operate. The experience itself may be intermittent, damn, intermittent, intermediate. Y'all know I can't talk. Intermediate, intermittent, intermittent, intermittent. So the experience may be intermittent at first. So maybe it's gonna be a little pause in the in the middle of it at first. But with repeated practice, it becomes easier and easier to reach and maintain. So this is a continual practice. But don't trip, because this is something you're supposed to continuously do throughout the day. This is not a meditation where you have to sit, close your eyes, and goddamn chant a mantra. You can do this in a waking word. You can do this while you're at work. You can do this while you're shitting. Do this while you pissing. The more you do it, it'll sit in your background. I'm not telling you because this is what I read. I'm telling you because this is my experience. This is my experience. It's running in my background right now as we speak. While my mind is coming up with thoughts and formulating words, it's running in my background as we speak. It's always there. Who is this I? Who is this that is speaking? Who is this that's reading the PDF? Who is this that is watching the screen? Who is this that is on TikTok and YouTube at the same time? Who is that I? Who's that one who's on the quest to search for that I? But anyway, when self-inquiry has reached this level, there is an effortless awareness of being in which individual effort is no longer possible, since the I who makes the effort has temporarily ceased to exist. You're not getting this nowhere else. You're not getting this profoundness nowhere else. This is very simple. What's being said here? Very simple. It is not self-realization, since the I thought periodically reasserts itself, but it is the highest level of practice. So just by doing this practice does not mean you have self-realization. It does not mean you have self-realization just because you're doing the practice. Repeated experience of this state of being weakens and destroys the vasanas, the mental tendencies, which cause the I thought to rise. And when their hold has been sufficiently weakened, the power of self destroys the residual tendencies so completely that the I thought never rises again. This is the final and irreversible state of self-realization. So you want to know what self-realization is? It's complete destruction of the motherfucking ego. That's it. Complete destruction of the ego. Let's highlight that again. Self-realization is complete destruction of the ego. If you looking and trying to figure this out, we on YouTube, y'all. What's up, Chad? We on YouTube. We on YouTube. My Gnosis on YouTube. I think I can put it in here though, can I? Let's see. Shit. How do I? Um, I don't even know how to comment on you on here. What's going on, Chad? I'm trying to, cause everybody over here on YouTube. I'm just trying to do some extra shit on TikTok. I don't even know how to put it on YouTube. I mean, type my name in, my YouTube name. I thought you can comment. I can't comment on my own goddamn live. What the fuck does that do? But anyway, but yeah, my Gnosis, my same name on TikTok is the name on YouTube. My Gnosis. This is what we reading. This is what we reading there right here. So let's see. Coop says, turning self-inquiry into a meta frame behind all experiences. Facts, bro. I didn't forget about that. I don't forget about that. Forget about that. Forget about that. Facts. Mothra says the ego is the final boss. That's it. That's what you're doing here. Because you have to understand the mind and the ego are all the same thing. And the mind and the ego is what's blocking you from having self-realization. It does not want you to have self-realization because then the play is over for you. Or the illusion that you think that the play is real, or the fact that you won't even know that it's a play. You won't know that this is a dream. You won't know this is an illusion. Even while you spiritual, every day waking up calling this shit an illusion, you still have not fully discerned how this place is a fucking illusion and what's the creator of the illusion. If you don't know the creator of the illusion, if you thinking it's some fucking entity out there flying demiurge or some shit that's creating an illusion, you help support and keep the illusion going up. You are the source of the illusion. For the fact that you think there's a demiurge or some evil entity or some group that's keeping the illusion up. If you thinking chemtrails is the fucking shit that's blocking you, chemtrails ain't stopping shit. If you think GMO food is doing something to you from having self-realization, it's not doing nothing. That's tricks of Maya. That's the tricks of the Matrix. That's the tricks of the illusion. No one is telling you this. Well, not no one, obviously. You know what I mean? But for your everyday, average, general spiritual seeker, they're not getting that information. They're not getting that understanding. They're taking and running with the fact that, oh, the Illuminati is doing something, the demiurge is doing something, the devil is doing something, low vibrational people are doing something, white supremacists are doing something, fucking men ain't doing what they, women ain't doing what they supposed to do, men ain't doing what they like. Oh, they got this LGBTQ plus RNA agenda going. That's stopping, and none of that is stopping you. None of that shit is stopping you. None of that shit is stopping you. That's the mind and the ego putting shit in your face so you can have some shit to do. So you can have some shit to war against that ultimately you are the creator of. It's hard to come to that realization. That's why I say this path is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's direct. If you want to get to your house, you can leave, you can walk out the house, get on the highway, drive all the way around the city, and then come back if you want to. But if you want to get to your house, open your motherfucking eyes up and realize that you're already in your house. And all of that shit that was stopping you from getting back to your house, or realize that you are in your house, is the mind creating all these obstacles. I think we need to understand how fucking profound that is. So simple, but so fucking profound. And you're not getting it in a short form content. That's why I tell them people on TikTok, you got to come to YouTube, which is the same. My YouTube is the same name as you are watching right here on TikTok. I don't do TikTok enough, and I post short content on TikTok, but this is hours long. We're going to be here for hours reading this. We 41 minutes in, and we just in the first fucking paragraph. Like, we like, you know what I'm saying? So, oh, I can add a note. There you go. Okay, let's see. Add a note. I don't need no tips and no money. Man, YouTube. YouTube, my Gnosis. Boom. All right, we done, right? Flash go. I don't know what that fuck goals mean on fucking TikTok. But this is, hold up, y'all. I got this goddamn oil burning. I gotta blow it out. That shit is strong as hell. So this is why we say this is the direct path, and there's not all this journey and shit that you're going through. What it do, bro? I'm in Chattanooga. Oh damn, that what's up? That what's up? Home team in the building. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? We over here on YouTube, man. We on YouTube with it. And I keep saying YouTube because this is where the live and direct effect go. Let's see. Mothra said, we got a thinking addiction. Facts. We addicted to thinking. That's why I always say you gonna think yourself right out of something purely divine. Cause see, nowadays we have lived in a point where the intellect has the analytical intellectual mind has developed to a point where it has blocked a lot of motherfuckers. Not even a lot. Everybody has been blocked and affected by the intellect. Everybody thinking the higher the intellect, the more superior. Even though you don't say it, there's a heavy undertone that you do. You believe that your intellect is the most superior thing. When we come to this understanding, we actually understand that it's actually the intuitive knowing, not intellectual knowing, but the intuitive knowing. Like the video I put up of Panic. We're not here trying to build up the intellect. That has nothing to do with it. The intellect has nothing to do with it. We're not trying to we're not trying to have the intellect be built up here. You use the intellect for daily shit. I need to know how to reset my computer and update my phone. You know what I'm saying? I need to intellectually know how to converse if I have a presentation at work or some shit. If I gotta have a call center, if I work at a call center, I need to intellectually know how to relay, how to help the customer. You need intellect for that. But that has nothing to do with having self-realization. We have to understand this. Zero said yesterday the Cosmic Doctrine lecture made me think we are not just the game, we are the source of the binary numbers that made the game slash reality. The pure awareness, pure observer. Repeat facts. This non-duality you teach us, my notes, will literally break everything else down. Facts, Zero. This shit is breaking everything else down. That intellect attachment makes you stuck and small, as Charles said, not the human mind, but the God mind. This is what we're talking about here. We're talking about the God mind. You see what I'm saying? How am I doing on YouTube, y'all? Am I breaking up? It look like my Wi-Fi starting to get choppy. I don't want to keep talking. Y'all need to let me know how we working out on because it seems like my Wi-Fi starting to get choppy. Am I breaking up, y'all? What Rose of Flame just say? I'm a bit behind on the live, but yeah, the ego puts all this bullshit in the way, and then people add in demons to the matrix, like, like what the fuck? Like y'all adding all this shit into it. The mind is adding all of this shit into it to give it something to do. But why does it do that? That way that it can further survive and continue. It does not want to perish. This practice here that we're doing right here, that we're talking about, that we're going over here, this practice ends that. This practice ends that. You want to not reincarnate and not come back? Here we go. Direct path here. Direct motherfucking path. Coop says, what you teaching makes the cosmic doctrine easier to digest for real. And you got to know, Coop, I don't think you want follow my channel that far that far back. The cosmic doctrine. Where's my book? The cosmic doctrine gave me so many motherfucking breakthroughs reading that book because I already had a breakthrough before I even read the book, before I knew about the book, before I was tapped in the Trav page. I had a breakthrough in a dream. A certain image came to me in a dream. I done showed it a million times on this YouTube channel though. And it's a reason why I use that spiral with that P for the for the sign for cosmic principle, right? It that book, once we read that book, that shit gave I had breakthroughs before. Then once I got that book and found out these same symbols existed in this book, and I have never read this book, never heard of this book, never even read a Dion Fortune book until Trav started reading Cosmic Doctrine. And I believe everybody who's present reading that fucking book had some major breakthroughs, bro. It's like we were all in the same room reading that fucking book, bro. And everybody was just like, oh, like what the fuck? So Cosmic Doctrine even helped me understand this shit even more. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Facts, zero. He said travel call it a parasite. Shit, it is. It's worse than a fucking parasite. I could have sworn I just seen the cop. Oh, here go the Cosmic Doctrine right here. For those on TikTok, that's the book right there, The Cosmic Doctrine. Obviously on YouTube, y'all done already read it. Y'all are reading it right now. So let's get back to it, y'all. Let's get back to it. The practice of self-attention or awareness of the I thought, damn, okay, of the I thought is a gentle technique which bypasses the usual repressive methods of controlling the mind. Do y'all hear that? Let me take that highlighter off. I don't know how to fuck that shit on. It says this practice of self-attention or awareness of the I thought itself. The I thought itself is a gentle technique which bypasses the usual repressive methods of controlling the mind. Have you not noticed that there's a lot of methods that's used for you to repressive methods for you to use to repress the mind in the thoughts? This is not that type of exercise. It's not about repressing. It is not an exercise in concentration. Do you hear that? For those who have problems concentrating, here you go. I mean, yeah, still need to learn how to concentrate, but nonetheless. All right, hold up. There you go. It is not an exercise of concentration, nor does it aim at suppressing thoughts. It merely listen, y'all. Listen. It merely invokes awareness of the source from which the mind springs. It literally invokes awareness of the source. The source. This is what we're looking for. Don't everybody call it source. Oh, the universe, God, or source said this and source said that. Let's get to the fucking source. Let's get to the source. Let's get to the source. This is getting to the source here. If we want to understand the source of all things, this is it. Because what is the mind? The mind is the source of all things that you know. That's why we ultimately get the understanding that all the things that we know are actually not the self. All of these words here are actually false. What these words here are, the words here are fucking, what do we call it? Promotion. Promotion for the self. Promotion for the absolute, pure consciousness. All of these are promotion for. So this is not an exercise in concentration, nor does it aim at suppressing thoughts. It merely invokes awareness of the source from which the mind springs. The method and goal of self-inquiry is to abide in the source of the mind, not in the mind. That's key that you understand that. We're not here to abide into the mind. We're here to abide in the source from where the mind comes from, and to be aware of what one reality is by withdrawing attention and interest from what one is not. We're going to read that one again. You have to know what you are not to know what you are. The method and goal of self-inquiry is to abide in the source of the mind and to be aware of what one really is. To be aware of what one really is by withdrawing attention and interest from what one is not. In the early stages, effort in the form of transferring, listen, in the early stages, effort in the form, listen, in early stages, effort in the form of transferring attention from thoughts to the thinker is essential. From thoughts to the thinker is essential. But once awareness of the I feeling has been firmly established, further effort is counterproductive. So once you reach that and understood this intuitive I feeling, it is counterintuitive. You don't need to keep doing that. From then on, it is more a process of being than doing. Are you hearing this? Going into pure being. Sound like some Catholic shit, don't it? Now we're going straight to pure being, not doing. Of effortless being rather than a effort to be. Ooh, that's a fine line. So from then on, it is more a process of being than doing, of effortless being rather than an effort to be. God damn. God damn. I'm trying to be that all I can be. That's a process of doing. Now we're just in a process of being, pure being. Here's the trick. That's already your fucking nature. You are already that pure being. That's what needs to be understood here. You are already that fucking pure being. Only thing is you have to have the realization that you are that fucking pure being. Let's read what Koo says. Your breakdown of cosmic doctrine on him and dropout vid helped me so much. Anyone studying cosmic doctrine, check second half of that video. Oh yeah, I do got a video called Bobby Hemmett Dropout. And I noticed that some people took it the wrong way, that I was saying like Bobby Hemmett was a dropout and his teachings wasn't. Like, why the fuck would I say that about fucking Bobby Hemmett? That's my fucking OG. That's not what I was saying. I was saying people have become Bobby Hemmett dropouts. People did not learn what the fuck Bobby was trying to tell you, motherfuckers. And that lets me know that people could even interpret that from that. Like, I don't know how some people got that from that, but yeah. So as Cooper saying that Bobby Hemmett dropout video, I did a breakdown or my rendition or understanding of the cosmic doctrine in a conglomerate of a mixture of all my occult studies up until that point. I think that's like a year-old video. If I was to redo it now, I probably have a even more profound video to do for that. But great video. You're okay, bro. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, Coop got malfunctions over there. I already know, Coop. Osadia, peace. What's happening? So, all right. Being what one already is effortless, since beingness is always present and always experienced. Do you get that? It's effortless. What you are is effortless. It's not nothing that you have to gain. You do not have to go through no levels to be what you already are. This is why we say there is no spiritual journey. What journey? Because you are already that. For the mind, yes, there's a spiritual journey. Continue to travel it before you find out, oh, damn, I was never on a traveling journey. On the other hand, Pretending to be what one is not, an example, the body and the mind requires continuous mental effort. Do you hear that? Even though the effort is nearly always at a subconscious level. Do you listen? So much of your energy, so much of your so-called power, so much of your attention, so much of your mental energy is used to continuously be what you are not. Think about that. You're using all the energy that you have ever had and gained or ever will have to be what you are not. That's why you struggle. That's why you stress. That's why we in fear. That's why we hurt. That's why we in doubt. I think you niggas need to really understand that. It takes so much effort to be what you are not. And what you are being, what you're trying to be is this body and this mind. And no matter what, you're going to always have to hop from concept to concept. It takes so much energy to hop from concept to concept. What do I mean? Oh, I'm a real man. Oh, I'm a real woman. Oh, I'm a businesswoman. Oh, I'm a businessman. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur Negro. Oh, I'm a spiritual person. Or I'm a divine masculine. I'm a divine feminine. All these identifications that you have taken with the body and the mind continuously takes effort. But it's effortless to be the self, that which you have always been. Because if you're living in the body mind complex, now let's say you was fat and then you lose weight and become what's the name. Now you have to shift your whole self concept. You ever notice how some people, when they lose weight and get fit, they still have the same confidence that they had when they were a bigger size? You ever notice that? And it's a continuous effort to fight to come back to create this new self concept. That's what you're doing this whole time in this world. It's the same thing. There's no difference. There's no difference. And those who get that, get that. It therefore follows that in higher stages of self inquiry, effort takes attention away from the experience of being, while the cessation of mental effort reveals it. Ultimately, the self is not discovered as a result of doing anything. The self is not discovered as a result of doing anything. The self is not discovered as a result of doing anything, but only by being. And this is why I say it's not easy. It's not easy because your whole mental construct and your whole concept is set up off of doing shit. You think it's a lot of shit for you to be doing around this motherfucker. You caught up on doing a whole bunch of shit. You don't know how to just be. You don't know how to just be. Right on time, Cosmic P. Cosmic PPP. Right on time. Right on fucking time. Let's read this paragraph again. From then on, it is more a process of being than doing, of effortless being rather than an effort to be. Being what one already is effortless, since beingness is always present and experienced. It's just a realization. It's just a realization that you are already what you are trying to be. This is why they say a lot of the spiritual teachings are for the ignorant. Not because you stupid and can't tie your motherfucking shoes and figure out what's 2 plus 2, because the ignorant cannot realize the fact that what I'm trying to become is what I already am. That's a tough cookie. It's a tough cookie, man. That's like fucking Captain Crunch. It's gonna scratch the roof of your goddamn mouth. May even bleed. That's a tough cookie, bro. This is why they say this path is not for everybody. Like what Maharaj be saying, a lot of people come listen to this shit to have their concepts entertained. You want your concepts entertained. You're not really trying to inherit this. You're not really trying to have conviction in this. You want concepts. This is not exciting to some people because they want their concepts entertained. Oh yeah, but what about okay? And then what about then? How do I? That's why the teacher always revert. Who is that? Who is asking this question about karma, about reincarnation? Figure out who that is first. So how do I treat people? Who is that? Who's wondering how, who, and why, and how should you treat people? Ask that question first. That's why the question here is always, who the fuck am I? On the other hand, pretending to be what one is not, which is the body mind, requires continuous mental effort. That's why your mind is tired. Even though the effort is nearly always at a subconscious level. It therefore follows that the higher stages of self-inquiry efforts takes attention away from the experience of being while the cessation of mental effort reveals it. Ultimately, the self is not discovered as a result of doing anything, but only by being. As Sri Ramana himself once remarked, do not meditate, be. Who has told you that? I ain't never heard no other teacher, no other book tell you that. Do not meditate. Be. Why? Because the meditation can become a playground for the ego to come up with all sorts of shiny objects and images and have a whole bunch of experiences. Experiences are going to happen, but what's going to happen with that is you're going to fuck around and think you're some so fucking profound about because you had these experiences. You're going to keep chasing experiences, keep chasing experiences, keep chasing experiences and visualizations and seeing gods and seeing spirits, and that has nothing to do with knowing the self. Because after you figure all that out, guess what your question still is going to have to be? Who is this I who has viewed these gods that have seen these gods and have these experiences? You still have to ask the same fucking question. That's why he said that statement. He says, do not think that you are, be. Just be. Do not think about being, you are. Does that sound confusing to you? If it does, good. If it does, good. But ponder on that. He says, do not think that you are. Be. Do not think about being. You are. So you don't think about it. You don't think about. You do not think that you are. I don't have to think. Okay, I am beingness. I am pure being. You don't have to think about it, and you don't have to think about being because you already are it. Just be it. That's hard as fuck. That made some people leave. But if you realize you are free, right, Zero? Coop says, SOP, stand on principle and learn to be. You can get lost in experience for a lifetime. Facts. Facts. Now, let's go. Self-inquiry should not be regarded as a meditation practice that takes place. Listen, this is very key because I know what we're used to. No, I have to get up in the morning at 6 p.m. and meditate. Or, oh, on my lunch break, I have to meditate. Or I have to, nothing's wrong with none of that. But this practice needs to be understood from this standpoint because I already know what the fuck he's going to say. Self-inquiry should not be regarded as a meditation practice that takes place at certain hours in certain positions. So you don't have to sit crisscross applesauce and lotus position, right? You don't have to do it every day at 12 p.m. It should continue throughout one's waking hours, irrespective of what one is doing. It doesn't matter what the fuck you're doing. It should be continuously running in the background as a program. Sri Ramana saw no conflict between working and self-inquiry. And he maintained that with a little practice, it could be done under any circumstances. I know this because I know this because I know this. All right? It can be done under any fucking circumstance. There is nothing that should be able to stop you once you've done it enough. It should be a continuously running program in the background. You don't have to stop working. You don't have to stop taking care of the kids to do this. You don't say I need a peace of mind because my house is so much going on in my house and I don't have peace and quiet to do it. No excuses. I remember way before I even got to this point, I had a friend and we were talking well, not really a friend, she was my ex. And she was at a point in the state and was like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm talking about the whole state of basically at that time using the concept of shadow work and working on yourself and figuring this out about yourself. And you know what I'm saying? Basically this type of shit, but not this type of shit. Just inquiring into yourself, the lowercase self, the mind, trying to figure out the mind. And the motherfucker kept coming with excuse. I can't do that because it's, you know, it's in my household and they doing this and they doing that and they doing this. But when I get there, I'm like, bro, if you can't do it and if you don't care enough, was what I told her. You don't care enough to try to work on yourself, regardless of the circumstances that you're in, then obviously you ain't gonna care enough when you get in better fucking circumstances. That's fucking obvious. You ain't gonna care. So you ain't gonna put the right effort towards it. And not to saying that that person's a bad person, but that just goes to show that we fear trying to dig deep into ourselves. It's a fucking fearful thing. Because sometimes a lot of us are scared what the fuck we'll find out. So we come up with, oh, well, I can't do it because I gotta go to work. Well, I can't do it, I gotta feed the kids. Well, I can't do it, you know what I'm saying? Because I live with a lot of people and it's always noisy. That same mind that's saying it can't do it, when it gets into that quiet place, it's still gonna find another reason why I can't do it. It's a tricky one. He said it can be done under any circumstance. He did sometimes say that regular periods of formal practice were good for beginners, but he never advocated long periods of sitting meditation. And he always showed his disapproval when any of his devotees expressed a desire to give up their mundane activities in favor of a meditative life. OG said, "I'm not riding with you on that." Oh, you want me to tell you, oh yeah, like, yeah, man, you should give up everything because the matrix got you caught up in paying bills. You right, man. It's too hard to figure out who the self is because you gotta pay bills. Yeah, you right, man. You should give up all of that mundane activity. This mundane shit, paying bills and shit, going to work, taking care of kids, being a husband to your wife, you know what I'm saying? Being a wife to your husband, you know what I'm saying? Don't do none of that, man. You know what I'm saying? Just give up and do a meditative life. He went on none of that. No, nigga, fuck that. Nigga, you got to do it in any circumstance, homie. You got to be standing on P. You got to stand on principle regardless of the circumstance. Is this clear to everybody in the chat? TikTok, YouTube, is this clear what he just said? I need to understand that y'all understand what the fuck was just said is very fucking clear. And remember, if you're on YouTube, you got the link that links you to the methodology of this, the PDF and a secret video that you can watch as well. So that's why I want y'all from TikTok to come to YouTube, because you won't be able to get that link. I need y'all in the chat to let me know, is this shit clear or not, what was just said right there. It is clear what he just said. There are no excuses of why you cannot practice the practice of self-inquiry. You can be at work. You can be in a fucking war zone. Just like Arjuna on the battlefield, having self-realization. Coop says constant self-awareness is the only difference between you and a master. And you have that ability. So I'm going to take that as the people in the chat, y'all understood this. Y'all understood what was just broke down in this last chapter. I ain't getting nobody to say yep or thumbs up or 100 or strong muscle arm or nothing. I ain't getting none of that. And I'm not moving on until you niggas tell me that somebody tell me that it was clear. If it's not, I will read it again and we will break it down. I need you niggas to take it serious. I'm asking you a serious question. Was that shit clear or not? All right, what the fuck is something going on with my mic? I'm saying everything but a yes or a no. Like, what's going on? If you want yes or no questions, you gotta come to YouTube. All right. Saudi said run it again. Yeah, you gotta come to YouTube. Crystal clear. All right. Cody said crystal clear. Cody, the only one said crystal clear. And Saudi is at work, so she get a pass. The rest of you motherfuckers, what's up, man? Ain't nobody saying shit. Calvin Puzzle P said yes. All right. Y'all about to make a nigga turn into a nigga on this motherfucker, man. Come on, man. We ain't here to play, bro. Self-inquiry should not be regarded as a meditation practice that takes place at certain hours in certain positions. It should continue throughout one's waking hours, irrespective of what one is doing. So you do not have to sit in a meditation position. There's no meditation position that you have to take, right? And you don't have to, keyword, you don't have to do it at certain hours, right? Sri Ramana saw no conflict between working and self-inquiry. So there's no conflict between you living your regular life, going to work and paying bills and taking care of kids and picking up your dog shit. And if you like me, eating chicken gizzards and smoking vapes, there's no conflict between self-inquiry and that. All right. And he maintained that with a little practice, it could be done under any circumstances. Any circumstances. He did sometimes say that regular periods of formal practice were good for beginners. So if we recognize that we respect that we are beginners, start off like that. Fuck it. Start off 5 minutes when you wake up in the morning. Fuck it. 5 minutes before you go to bed. Set up something that's easy for you, because then it'll continuously become it'll start being a program that runs in the background. That's what you want. But he never advocated long periods of sitting meditation. He always showed his disapproval when any of his devotees expressed a desire to give up their mundane activities in favor of a meditative life. This is not the teacher who's gonna say, "Oh, you know what? Give up regular life and run off because Donald Trump is doing this and the Matrix and the government is doing this." No, he's not the teacher that's going to tell you get to give up any of those mundane activities. You should be doing this in your everyday mundane activities. Your body, mind, karma has permitted for you to be in whatever fucking situation you in as that body and mind. Let that body and mind be there. But you, pure awareness, are not there doing any of those things. So let the body and mind continue to take care of what it needs to take care of and work with what it needs to work with. So now that should be clear. Rose of Flame. Okay. Cotton Puppy said yes. Rose of Flame said Krishna did not tell Arjuna to drop out and go meditate in a cave in the Himalayas. Facts. You're gonna stick your ass right here and you're gonna fight this battle. Zero says clear. My nose is all right. Cotton Puppy said run it again. Okay, that's from oh shit, that's from the first. Okay. To do work and work. Yeah, okay. Facts. Cody got it. He and Zero said he encourages Arjuna to fight because that is his dharma. But he did it from a non-duality perspective, as the same as Krishna. Yes, yes. Come on, man. Crystal clear. Okay, Wi-Fi fucking up. Okay. Yeah, good, but I'm driving. Yeah, it's good. Okay, okay. Colin Pusby said, all right. Oh, we gotta leave TikTok because TikTok don't let me smoking my vape. So now I'm probably banned from TikTok. All right. So he teaches us to realize on the way on the Western Dharma. Facts. Your Western duties, carry them out, man. Carry them out. So now let's get into the actual chapter. All right, Hasadi says clear now. It's time to get into the actual chapter, y'all. Yeah, I know, goddamn it, this is a conversation amongst us, right? It's not just me talking. Yeah, I know I need y'all to goddamn, and I know some people at work, so I ain't tripping. But I know, goddamn it, it can be somebody to drop something in the damn chat. Majority of y'all at work are driving, like Rosa Flame just said. How did Krishna turn blue? Like lay in blueberries or grapes or something? I don't even know, Cody. I don't even know, bro. I forgot what it meant. I guess he represents the deep, dark blue of space. Question, right? Let's start it up. Here it goes. The questioner asks the teacher, right? He asks Ramana, you say one can realize the self by a search for it. What is the character of this search? You are the mind, or think that you are the mind. The mind is nothing but thoughts. Now, behind every particular thought, there is a general thought, which is the I. That is yourself. Basically, saying that's who you are. Let us call this I the first thought. Stick to this I thought and question it to find out what it is. Stick to this I thought and question it to find out what it is. All right? We have to understand because we think we are the mind. No, you don't walk around and say, I am my mind, I am my mind, I am my mind. It's superimposed or it's subtle and it's already inherited that you feel like that you are your mind. How do you know that? Uh, I'm thinking about, or I am mad, or I am sad. All of that is happening in the mind. So you have started to take identity with the mind. But the teacher here is telling you the mind is nothing but thoughts. And behind all of those thoughts, there's a general thought. There's one consistent thought, and it is I. And he said, let us call this I the first thought. Stick to this I thought and question it to find out what it is. This is the essence of self-inquiry. You have the PDF download. Y'all need to click on that PDF download. When the question takes strong hold on you, you cannot think of other thoughts. So when you focus on that question of who is this I, other thoughts will be on a stronghold and you will not be able to think of other thoughts. All right, that sounds crystal clear. Question. When I do this and cling, listen, questioner says, when I do this and cling to myself, that is, the I thought, other thoughts come and go. But I say to myself, who am I? And there is no answer forthcoming. To be in this condition is the practice. Is that so? He says this. Here we go. This is a mistake that people often make. What happens when you make a serious quest for the self is that the I thought disappears and something else from the depths take hold of you. And that is not the I, which commenced the quest. Questioner says, what is this something else? That is the real self, the import of I. That's the source of the I. It is not the ego. It is the supreme being itself. But you have often said that one must reject other thoughts when one begins the quest. But the thoughts are endless. If one thought is rejected, another comes, and there seems to be no end at all. I'm pretty sure we all have had this experience. I'm pretty sure all of us have had this exact experience. But don't worry, we got you. I did not say that you must go on rejecting thoughts. Cling to yourself. That is to the I thought. When your interests keep you, excuse me, when your interests keeps you to that single idea, other thoughts will automatically get rejected and they will vanish. See the difference in what he's saying? He said the student thought, oh, I thought you were saying like focus on the I, and when other thoughts come up, continuously reject these thoughts. See, here's the trick of the mind, right? The trick of the mind knows one thing. It knows that when you're trying to do this practice, it's going to continuously throw thoughts at you. And what does it want you to do? It wants you to give attention to it. Attention to it. You give attention to those thoughts, then what? You beef them thoughts up. They get more beefier. They gain more energy. I guess is that if that's a word you want to use. The thoughts get stronger by you giving attention to thoughts. That's how your mind works on a natural basis. They're called counter thoughts. You have a thought about a thought about a thought about a thought. That's the trick of the mind. So he's not telling you with this questioning who am I to continuously reject thoughts. No, just focus on the simple I thought. Focus on that I thought. And once you'll get to notice how those rest of those thoughts start to fall off. They'll start to fall off. They won't have any hold on you. So the questioner says, and so rejection of thought is not necessary? No. It may be necessary for a time or for some. You fancy that there is no end, that there is no end if one goes on rejecting every thought when it arises. It is not true. There is an end. If you are vigilant, if you are vigilant, and make a stern effort to reject every thought when it rises, you will soon find out that you are going deeper and deeper into your inner self. At that level, it is not necessary to make an effort to reject the thoughts. At that level, it is not necessary to make an effort to reject the thoughts. Question. Then it is possible to be without effort, without strain. Not only that, it is impossible for you to make an effort beyond a certain extent. I want to be further enlightened. Should I try to make no effort at all? Here, it is impossible for you to be without effort. When you go deeper, it is impossible for you to make any effort. Here, because he asked the question, right? I want to be further enlightened. Should I try to make no effort at all? Should I make an effort of making no effort? Here, it is impossible for you to be without effort. When you go deeper, it is impossible for you to make any effort. If the mind becomes introverted through inquiry into the source of aham vritti, the vasanas become extinct. The light of the self falls on the vasanas, on the mental impressions of the mental tendencies. The light of the self falls on the mental tendencies and produces the phenomena of reflection we call the mind. Thus, when the vasanas become extinct, the mind also disappears, being absorbed into the light of the one reality, the heart. This is the sum in substance of all that an aspirant needs to know. Why does he say that's all you need to know? Because you would get caught up on concepts and trying to work out. Because right there, that's where you get to using your intellect. This is what we're talking about, intellect. You will start to getting using your intellect and trying to figure out processes and shit. That's all you need to know. What is imperatively required of him is an earnest and one-pointed inquiry into the source of the aham vritti. Let's read some quick statements here. The AA, the what? The I monkey is a nocturnal primate with bat-like ears, owl-like eyes, rat-like teeth, and a raccoon-like finger, using sound, touch, and scent and percussion to find grubs. Cody, where you been at, man? We miss you over here, bro. Doing self-inquiry, you cannot overcomplicate it. That's the mind doing that as well. That is it right there. That's it right there. Hold up, y'all. Ram Dass said it like all these thoughts popping up at you saying I'm real, think me. Uh, oh yeah. Nah, facts, Rose of Flame, facts. That's what them thoughts do. They're gonna continuously pop up, right? Question that says, how should a beginner start this practice? The mind will subside only by means of inquiry. Who am I? Listen, the mind will subside only by means of inquiry. You tell me, if you've done meditative practices, does that subside the mind? All of those meditative practices, does it subside the mind? Is the mind continuously giving you visions, images, and things to focus on? The thought, who am I, destroying all other thoughts, will itself finally be destroyed, like the stick used for stirring the funeral pie. If other thoughts rise, one should, without attempting to complete them, inquire to whom do they rise. You don't even try to figure out these other thoughts. Don't try to complete the thoughts. Don't do that. Before that even happens, he's saying you should already start inquiring to whom do these thoughts arise. What does it matter? Listen, what does it matter however many thoughts arise? At the moment that each thought arises, if one vigilantly inquires to whom do they arise, it will be known to me. If one then inquires, who am I? Then the mind will turn back into its source, the self, and the thought which has risen will also subside. By repeatedly practicing thus, the power of the mind to abide in its source increases. Although tendencies towards sense objects or vishaya, vasanas, right? Tendencies towards sense objects, things you can hear, taste, touch, smell, see, have been recurring down the ages, rise in countless numbers like the waves of the ocean. They will all perish as meditation on one's nature becomes more and more intense. Without giving room even to the doubting thought, is it possible to destroy all of these tendencies and remain as self alone? One should persistently cling fast to self attention. You need to turn to that eye when those thoughts start to pop up. That's it right there. Common Puzzle Piece says, damn, the mind, like quicksand. The harder you fight, the quicker you fall. It's that cold. As long as there are tendencies towards sense objects in the mind, the inquiry, who am I, is necessary. As when thoughts arise, one should annihilate all of them through inquiry. Then and there, in their very place of origin, you chop them motherfuckers down as soon as you see them. You chop those thoughts down as soon as you see them. But you don't physically try to stop them. You don't physically give them attention. They pop up, slice them. They pop up, say, who are these? Who is this I? Who these thoughts arise to? That's the inquiry. That's the questions that you start to ask yourself. That you start to ask in general. Not attending to what is other. Anya is non-attachment. Do you hear that? Not attending to what is other is non-attachment or desirelessness. Not leaving self is knowledge or jnana. What does he mean by not leaving self? By staying firmly rooted, what we call over here SOP, by standing on this principle. That is knowledge. That's knowledge itself. That don't sound like the knowledge everybody else say you gotta have, though, do it. In truth, these two, hold up. In truth, these two, desirelessness and knowledge, are one in the same. Just as a pearl diver tying a stone to his waist dives into the sea and takes that pearl lying at the bottom. So everyone deep dive within himself with non-attachment can attain the pearl of self. If one resorts uninterruptedly to remembrance of one's real nature until one attains self, that alone will be sufficient. Inquiring, who am I, that is in bondage, and knowing one's real nature alone is liberation. What's liberation? You inquire into who am I that is in bondage? Who am I that is trapped in the matrix? Who am I that is getting held down by white supremacy? Who am I that's getting held down by Donald Trump? Who am I that can't stop arguing with fucking Christians? Who am I that keeps talking about and afraid of AI? Who am I? Who am I that said we need to hurry up and build a community because they're going to do this to us and they're going to do this to us? Who am I that is in or dealing with all of that? All right. And self-realization is what? Liberation. Liberation is what? Knowing one's true nature. Always keeping the mind fixed on the self alone is called self-inquiry. Do you hear that? Always keeping one's mind alone, oneself alone, keeping one's mind fixed in self alone is called self-inquiry. Whereas meditation or dhyana is thinking oneself to be the absolute Brahman, which is existence, consciousness, bliss. Do y'all hear that? I haven't heard that from any other teacher that speaks about um none of these other teachers from the East are saying that type of shit. Right? So it's saying always keeping the mind fixed in the self alone is called self-inquiry, if you wanted to know. Whereas meditation, what is that? Meditation is thinking oneself to be the absolute. So you're trying to think yourself into divinity. If you ask me, that's what a lot of spiritual systems do. Try to get you to think your way, intellectualize your way, logically think your way into being this absolute. Do you disagree? I don't care. Motherfucker disagree with that? That's fucking fine. Let's see. Coop says, who am I? And who are these thoughts arising to? That's the whole thing. Do that repeatedly and you will see clearly. It's incredible. 7 grams. What's happening? What's happening? Peace, God. Peace, peace, peace. That's it right there, Mothra. Seek ye first the kingdom of fucking heaven. This is what this is doing right here. First, you need to be seeking the kingdom of heaven. Not trying to think your way into goddamn heaven. Seek, inquire into the self. There go Cody with that shit. Long care, don't care. Hacksaw, Jim Deneen. Lil Wayne. Don't even care. All right. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now you're finna get into the yogis. The question says the yogis say that one must renounce this world and go off into secluded jungle if one wishes to find the truth. He says the life of action need not be renounced. If you meditate for an hour or two every day, you can then carry on with your duties. If you meditate in the right manner, then the current of mind induced will continue to flow even in the midst of your work. Even in the midst of your work. We went over that earlier, right? When I kept asking y'all to put something in the chat to make sure that it was clear. It is as though there were two ways of expressing the same idea. The same line which you take in meditation will be expressed in your activities. What will be the result of doing that? As you go on, you will find that your attitude towards people, events, and objects gradually change. Your actions will tend to follow your meditations of their own accord. Y'all hearing that? As you go on, you will find that your attitude towards people, events, and objects gradually change. Your actions will tend to follow your meditations of their own accord. What does he say here? Then do you not agree with the yogis? A man should surrender the personal selfishness which binds him to this world. Giving up the false self is the true renunciation. So renunciation is not completely giving up your job and going run off in the mountains or going off grid. That's not what it is. It's giving up the false self, giving up the ego, giving up the mind. That is the true detachment. How is it possible to become selfless while leading a life of worldly activity? Here's the answer. There is no conflict between work and wisdom. Do you mean that that one can continue all the old activities in one's profession, for instance, and at the same time get enlightenment? What did Maharaj say? Why not, nigga? But in that case, one will not think that it is the old personality which is doing the work, because one's consciousness will gradually become transferred until it is centered in that which is beyond the little self. Let's do that again. Why not? Why not? But in that case, one will not think that it is the old personality which is doing the work, because one's consciousness will gradually become transferred until it is centered in that which is beyond the little self. If a person is engaged in work, there will be little time left for him to meditate. That's what a student says. If a person is engaged in work, it'll be little time for him to meditate. Setting apart time for meditation is only for the merest spiritual novices. A man who is advanced will begin to enjoy the deeper beatitude, whether he is at work or not. While his hands are in society, he keeps his head cool in solitude. Blessed is the one who can do it in the midst of all this shit. This is what we're saying about the Dharma of the West. We do not have the same Dharma, our body mind complex, our body mind Dharma or karma has not permitted for us to live like those people do in India. We live in a heavy doer society. So if you want to look at it from that scale, you would say we have it way harder here. So you niggas who's taking this shit serious in this day and age, in this fucking time where everybody's arguing about what men and women should be doing, how much money you make a year, how much what you should be doing at this age, and how much you should have at this age, and you need 4 jobs and 2 side hustles and 3 businesses. Pat yourself on the back, my nigga. Don't send yourself out. Don't fool yourself, but nonetheless, pat yourself on the motherfucking back. Let's see. I pulled my back out last week, and the next day I started asking myself who this pain is arising to that actually got the pain to go away. Do you hear that? Real life testimony right here in y'all face. Real life testimony right here in y'all face has how it even went down and affected the physiology of a person. Mothra just says, I pulled my back out last week. And the next day I started asking myself, who is this pain arising to? I actually got the pain to go away by doing this. Come on, man. Let me goddamn put the clappers on for that one. Come on, man. Come on now. That's what we talking about here. That's what we talking about here.
You get this shit? You get this shit? You get this shit? You get this shit?
Somebody's getting this shit. It's happening in real deal life factions. Running to the rainforest with an ice cream truck. With Joe B, Joey, Hank, Honk, Honk. Cody, bro. You ain't slick, Cody. Your ass be coming over here from different YouTube pages. Cause don't nobody talk like fucking Cody talk. Read that shit. Facts. Cotton Plus B says the change is gradual. Cool says, Martha, that's incredible. SOP is the real magic. Standing on the principle. The real deal magic right there, y'all. Real deal magic. The questioner says, then do you not teach the way of yoga? The yogi tries to drive his mind to the goal, as a cowherd drives a bull with a stick. But on this path, the seeker coaxes the bull by holding out a handful of grass. Ah! He's saying the yogis take the hard way. Yeah, okay, possibly it can be done. This is the easier way. Hold out a handful of grass for the bull. Hold out the proper question to ask the mind and the ego. You entice it, give it something, give it what it wants. Then when it gets that, fuck, I got you. Who is this I who this thought arises to? And next thing you know, who is this pain arising to? And next thing you know, like Mantra says, that pain starts to disappear. Questioner says, how is this done? You have to ask yourself the question, who am I? This investigation will lead in the end to the discovery of something within you which is behind the mind. Behind the mind. Solve that great problem and you will solve all other problems. Let's read that again. He says, you have to ask yourself the question, who am I? This investigation will lead in the end to the discovery of something within you, which is behind the mind. If you solve that great problem, all other problems will be solved. What problem do you have to solve in fucking spiritual systems? You got to do all this fucking work. You got to do all this shit. It's like it's like moving a herd of fucking bulls with a fucking stick. Knowing that bulls love to eat grass. Get some good fresh smelling grass for their ass. And they'll start running to you. Way easier. Questioner says, seeking the eye, there is nothing to be seen. Because you are accustomed to identifying yourself with the body and sight, with the eyes. Therefore, you say you do not see anything. What is there to be seen? Who is to see? How to see? There is only one consciousness which, manifesting as I thought, identifies itself with the body, projects itself through the eyes, and sees other objects around. The individual is limited in the waking state and expects to see something different. The evidence of his senses will be the seal of authority. Do you hear that? The evidence of your senses will be the seal of your authority. That's what'll be stopping you. You won't have spiritual authority, as Trav says. Where's your authority? Your authority stops at your fucking five senses. You always trying to see something, smell something, feel something, taste something, and hear something. That's where your spiritual journey will end, at your senses. Which, if you think about what everybody's talking about, they're talking about seeing gods and traveling and being in the fourth and the fifth dimension. They're talking about star seeds. They're talking about whatever the fuck else they're talking about. But if you pay close attention, watch how it all reverts back to experiencing something with the five elements or the five senses. Remember what I just said. And next time you see some people talking about some profound spiritual shit, think about that. But he will not admit that the seer in the scene, He would not admit that the seer, the seen, and the seeing are all manifestation of the same consciousness, namely I and I. Contemplation helps one to overcome the illusion that the self must be visual. Contemplation helps one to overcome the illusion that the self must be visual. In truth, there is nothing visual. How do you feel the I now? Do you hold a mirror before you to know your own being? The awareness is the I. Realize it, and that is the truth. Realize that, and that is the truth. On inquiry into the origin of thoughts, there is a perception of I, but it does not satisfy me. Damn, y'all, what the fuck? Questioner says, quite right. The perception of I is associated with a form, maybe the body. There should be nothing associated with the pure self. The self is the unassociated, pure reality in whose light the body and the ego shine. On stilling all thoughts of pure consciousness remains. Just on the waking from sleep and before becoming aware of the world, there is that pure I. Hold on to it without sleeping or without allowing thoughts to possess you. If that is held firm, it does not matter even if the world is seen. The seer remains unaffected by the phenomena. What is the ego? Inquire. The body is insentient and cannot say I, right or wrong. The body is insentient and it cannot talk. So how could the body be the I? How could you say I am the body? The body can't speak for itself. The self is pure consciousness and non-dual. It cannot say I. No one says I. I in sleep. What is the ego then? It is something intermediate between the inert body and the self. It has no locus standi or no locus standi, right? If sought for, it vanishes like a ghost. At night, a man may imagine that there is a mere ghost by his side because of the play of shadows. If he looks closely, he discovers that the ghost is not really there. And what he imagined to be a ghost was merely a tree or a post. If he does not look closely, the ghost may terrify him. All that is required is to look closely, and the ghost vanishes. The ghost was never there. So also with the ego, he's telling you what? The ego is not real. It does not exist. It is an intangible link between the body and pure consciousness. It is not real. So long as one does not look closely at it, it continues to give trouble. But when one looks for it, it is found not to exist. Bruh, is y'all getting this shit here? Each sentence, Coop T just says he speaks, is pregnant with truth. These sentences are having fucking babies right here. No birth certificate, gang. Damn. He says there's another story which illustrates this. The Hindu marriage functions, the feast. In Hindu marriage functions, the feast often continues for 4, 5, or 6 days. On one of these occasions, a stranger was mistaken for the best man by the bride's party, and they therefore treated him. And they therefore treated him with special regard. Seeing him treated with special regard by the bride's party, the bridegroom's party considered him to be some man of importance related to the bride's party, and therefore they too show him special respect. The stranger had altogether a happy time of it. He was also all along aware of the real situation. On one occasion, the groom's party wanted to refer to him on some point. Want to refer to him on some point. And so they asked the bride's party about him. Immediately he scented trouble, made himself scarce. So it is with the ego. If I look for it, it disappears. If looked for, it disappears. If not, it continues to give you trouble. So when you're looking for this ego, when you're looking for this mind, when you're looking for this shit, it's going to disappear. It's going to stop working. It's an imposter. It's imposing. But here's the thing, we have never been taught to look for it. There has been no other spiritual systems outside of what I see of non-duality teachings or Sri Ramana's teachings, which specifically tells you to focus on this I, that teaches you to get direct to the imposter. Go directly to the imposter. He's not giving you advanced spiritual concepts. He's not giving you a symbol to focus on. He's not giving you a ritual to do. Cut straight to the motherfucking chase. Let me stand up real quick and stretch. Hold up. Ah, y'all gotta understand, bro. This is a direct path. This is a straight path. Some even call it the lazy path. You want to know what I think? I think people who get this are people who have had the past life, if we want to say that, right? Let's use that concept of past lives. Of one that did all this shit, tried all this shit, been through all these other paths, and it's like, you know what? I'm done with this shit. I need to get straight to the goddamn point. Your five elementals have bundled up and said, fuck this, bro. Let's get down to it. Like, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's figure this shit out. Let's go straight to the source. Straight to the motherfucking source. 7 grams said, I'm at work but listening, God. All right, bet. Best time to be listening, too. I swear to God, that shit make work go by fast. Cool TGS said, I read once that a realized being gets more pleasure by moving his leg 3 inches than a rich man attains in 1 week in New York City. Damn. Damn. God, Puzzle P says, so grateful to be part of this book read. This shit is so good. Now, facts, Carbon Puzzle Piece. Zero says completely. This system is the only one I can say I saw that is straightforward. Coop says we're going straight to the core. Zero said the short path. Coop says, like Chad says, go fucking berserk, gang. Go fucking berserk. Go berserk. Hold up, y'all. 1 second. Don't take y'all ass nowhere. Hold up. Ace, what's happening, man? Glad y'all joined. I had to run down there and get me some sour candy. I don't know why the fuck I'm getting sleepy. But you showed up at a great time. Whoever showed up, you showed up at a great time. Great time to be here. Wake that ass up for the 9 tray. Wake that ass up for the 9 tray. We in this bitch today. Water, agua, along with the candy. Yeah, I gotta have me some candy, bro. I don't know what it is, especially when this shit gets going. Having these motherfuckers right here. I don't know who told y'all about. If ain't nobody told y'all about them. Yeah, I only know where the fuck the bongo sound effect come from. Y'all know I got my air horn and I got my
Baphomet. All that other bullshit ain't got shit to do with the goddamn soul. All that other bullshit ain't got shit to do with the goddamn soul.
all that bullshit ain't got shit to do with the goddamn soul. So let me finish. This red and blue motherfucker is fire too. This red and blue motherfucker fire. I said he been eyeing peace rings again. Get them motherfuckers, bro. So let's get back into it. Says if I try to make the who am I inquiry, I fall into sleep. What should I do? Persist in the inquiry throughout your waking hours, then. That will be quite enough. If you keep on making the inquiry till you fall asleep, the inquiry will go on during sleep also. Take up the inquiry again as soon as you wake up. So if you fall asleep, and if you do fall asleep still doing it, it's guess what's going to happen? It's going to go on while you're going to sleep. This is the fact, because this is what I know from what I've experienced. From what the fuck I have experienced. How can I get peace? I do not seem to attain it through Vichara. Peace is your natural state. It is the mind that obstructs the natural state. Right? So while you're trying to get peace of mind, mind is the one that's causing the mind, that's causing you not to be in peace. Right? So you're at a peaceless state because of the mind. And you run around here trying to get peace of mind. If you do not experience peace, it means that your vicharya has been made only in the mind. Investigate what the mind is, and then it will disappear. Underline that. There is no such thing as a mind apart from thought. Nevertheless, because of the emergence of thought, you summarize something from which it starts. You summarize something from which it starts and term that the mind. Let's read that again. There is no such thing as a mind apart from thoughts. Nevertheless, because of the emergence of thought, you summarize something from which it starts and term that the mind. When you probe to see what it is, damn it, when you probe to see what it is, you find there is really no such thing as mind. When the mind has thus vanished, you realize eternal peace. So you don't gain peace, you realize peace. You don't gain peace, you realize it, because that's already what? Your natural state, your nature. Your nature is peace. When I'm engaged in inquiry as to the source from which the I springs, I arrive at a stage of stillness of the mind, beyond which I find myself unable to proceed further. I have no thought of any kind. There is an emptiness, a blankness, a mild, a emptiness and a blankness, right? So let's highlight that. This is what one student said he experiences. A mild light pervades, and I feel that it is myself, then I feel that it is myself bodiless. I have neither cognition nor vision of body in form. The experience lasts nearly half an hour, and it is pleasing. I would be would I be to would I be correct in concluding that all that was necessary to secure eternal happiness, that is freedom or salvation or whatever one calls it, was to continue the practice till this experience could be maintained for hours, days, months, or all together? So that's a question, right? He's asking about his experience. Am I doing self-inquiry to get this experience? Let's see what he said. This does not mean salvation. Such a condition is termed Manolaya, or temporary stillness of thought. Manolaya means concentration. Temporarily arresting the movement of thoughts. As soon as this concentration ceases, or stops, or ceases, thoughts, old and new, rush in, just as usual. All them thoughts gonna come right back to your ass. And even if this temporary lulling of mind should last 1,000 years, it will never lead to total destruction of thought, which is what is called liberation from birth and death. What is liberation from reincarnating? How do you stop reincarnating? Here it is placed as total destruction of thoughts. Why is that? Because the mind is nothing but thoughts, and the mind is what's creating this whole reality. So, how you get away from being reborn again? Liberation. Liberation of what? Destruction of the mind and its thoughts. The practitioner must therefore must be ever on the alert and inquire within as to who has had this experience. To whom has this experience happened to? Who realizes its pleasantness? Without the inquiry, he will go into a long trance or deep sleep. Due to the absence of a proper guide at this stage of spiritual practice, many have been deluded and fallen prey to a false sense of liberation, and only a few have managed to reach the goal safely. All right, let's go. The following story illustrates the point very well. A yogi was doing penance or tapas for a number of years on the banks of the Ganges. When he attained a high degree of concentration, he believed that continuance in that stage for prolonged periods constituted liberation, and practiced it. One day, before going into deep concentration, he felt thirsty and called to his disciple to bring him a little drinking water from the Ganges. right? But before the disciple arrived with the water, he had gone into yoga nidra, or deep concentration, and remained in that state for countless years, during which time much water flowed under the bridge. When he woke up from this experience, he immediately called, "Water, water." But there was neither his disciple nor the Ganges in sight. The first thing which he asked for water was water, because before going into deep concentration, the topmost layer of thought in his mind was water. And by concentration, however deep and prolonged it might have been, he had only been able to temporarily to lull his thoughts. When he regained consciousness, this topmost thought flew up with all the speed and force of a flood breaking through the dikes. If then the dikes, if this is the case with regard to a thought which took shape immediately before he set for meditation, there is no doubt that the thought which took root earlier would also remain unannihilated. Did you hear what he just said? You niggas can go and do all the most profound, deep meditations, all you want to. But once you done and come back, all of those thoughts are going to flood. Even if it's to your detriment. Because that's what the mind does, niggas. You have to realize that. That's what the mind does. If annihilation of thoughts is liberation, can he be said to have attained salvation? Sadhakas or seekers rarely understand the difference between this temporary stilling of the mind, a Manolaya, and permanent destruction of thoughts, Manosas. We got to highlight that whole thing because we rarely understand the difference. Rose Plain said he catching it too. Same here, bro. We have to know the difference between temporary stilling of the mind and permanent destruction of thoughts. Is that not what the whole mindful movement is about going on here? He's telling you this so you can understand the difference, so you don't be fooled. In Manolaya, which is destruction of thoughts, there is temporary subsidence of thought waves. And though this temporary period may have lasted for thousands, Manolaya is the temporary stilling of the mind, my bad. Even though that lasts for thousands of years, thoughts which are temporarily stilled rise up as soon as the Manolaya ceases. One must therefore watch one's spiritual progress carefully. Let's highlight or underline that. One must not allow oneself to be overtaken by such spells of stillness of thought. The moment one experiences this, one must receive consciousness and inquire within as to who it is who experiences this stillness. One has to carefully ask, who is this who experienced? Is this not the same story I was telling y'all that we all heard about Buddha? Little Buddha? His mind kept telling him, "Oh, we reached the ultimate stage, the ultimate point. We're done. We don't have to do nothing else. The mind is still in its advance, and we the highest of the highest." And Buddha said, "Nope, I won't even accept that." Don't that sound like the same shit you just heard here? You get ultimate stillness of mind, and the mind knows that you believe, they're gonna believe that, oh, now I'm enlightened. Ramana says the quest doesn't stop there. Ask the question, to who does this stillness arise to? Who is that experiences this stillness while not allowing any thoughts to intrude? One must not at the same time be overtaken by the deep sleep or self-hypnotism. This is a sign of progress towards the goal. Yet, hold up. This is a sign of progress towards the goal. Yet it is also the point where the divergence between the road to liberation and yoga nidra takes place. The easy way, the direct way. You see what he called it? The easy way, the direct way, the shortest cut to salvation is the inquiry method. Do you niggas want it? He says easy. For what I've understood from us over here in America, that shit ain't easy. This is the easy way, the direct way, the shortest cut to salvation, to liberation, is the inquiry method. By such inquiry, you will drive the thought force deeper till it reaches the source and merges therein. It is then that you will have the question from within and find that you rest there, destroying all thoughts once and for all. This I thought arises from me, but I do not know the self. This I thought arises from me, but I do not know the self, is what the student is saying. All thoughts are mental concepts. You are now identifying yourself with the wrong I, which is the I thought. This I thought arises and sinks. The true significance of I is beyond both. There cannot be a break. There cannot be a break in your being. There cannot be no spaces, no separations, no pauses in your being. You who slept are also now awake. There is no unhappiness in your deep sleep, whereas it exists now. What is it that has happened now so that the difference is experienced? There is no I thought in your sleep, whereas it is present right here and right now. The true I is not apparent, and the false I is parading itself. The false I is the obstacle to your right knowledge, to get right knowledge. Find out where this false I arises, then it will disappear. You will then be only what you are. That is absolute being. He's giving it to you right there. How to do it. I have succeeded so far. Search for the source of the I thought. That is all that one has to do. The universe exists on account of the I thought. If that ends there, if that ends there is an end to misery also. So if the I thought ends there, there will be a end to your misery as well. The false I will end only when its source is sought. There is no other way. You find the source, you beat the game. Find the source, you beat the game. Find the source and you beat the game. Again, people often ask how the mind is controlled. I say to them, show me the mind, then you will know. Hold up. Show me the mind, and you will know what to do. If you can show me the mind, then you'll know what to do. The fact is that the mind is only a bundle of thoughts. How can you extinguish it by the thought of doing so or by desire? God damn, we got to read that again. That's key. Again, people often ask how the mind is controlled. I say to them, show me the mind, and then you will know what to do. The fact is that the mind is only a bundle of thoughts. How can you extinguish it by the thought of doing so? If the mind is nothing but thoughts, how are you going to destroy the mind with the thoughts? By thinking about a fucking whatever deity, by thinking about whatever sigil. Your thoughts and desires are part and parcel of the mind. The mind is simply fattened by new thoughts rising up. Therefore, it is foolish to attempt to kill the mind by means of the mind. The only way of doing it is to find the source and hold on to it. Hold on to it. The mind will then fade away of its own accord. Yoga teaches chitta, vritti, nirodha, control of the activities of the mind. But let's underline that. Let's highlight that. He said that's what yoga teaches. But I say Atma Vichara, self-investigation. This is what we're doing here. If you want to understand the teachings of this man, you will see a lot of shit in the other yoga books that he is not saying. He's saying none of that shit works. The only way to get to this real point of the self and know thyself is to self-investigate. This is the practical way. Chittavritti niram is brought about in sleep, swoon, or by the starvation. As soon as the cause is withdrawn, there is a recurrence of thoughts. As soon as the cause is withdrawn, there's a reoccurrence of thoughts. The thought's going to come back, is what he's saying. After you do that practical way from the normal yogis. Of what use is it then? In the state of a stupor, there is peace and no misery. But misery recurs when the stupor is removed. So no control is useless and cannot be of lasting benefit. Damn. So what does that say about NLP? Maybe it's tricks of the mind that we're giving ourselves. Tricks of the mind by the mind. The mind is planning the police officer helping you look for the goddamn criminal. The criminal is the fucking mind. So the police and the criminal are the same fucking person. How then can the benefit be made lasting? It is by finding the cause of misery. Misery is due to the perception of objects. That's it. What causes suffering? You being able to perceive objects. If they are not there, there will be no contingent thoughts. And so misery is wiped off. That goes back to what Sri Maharaj says. That's another story. Cool know what I'm talking about when Sri Maharaj get to talking about consciousness. How will objects cease to be? Which is said here, is the question. The Shrutis or the scriptures and the sages say that objects are only mental creations. They have no substantive being. Investigate the matter and ascertain the truth of the statement. The result will be the conclusion that the objective world is in the subjective consciousness. The world exists within you. The self exists within you, the self. The self is thus the only reality which permeates and also envelops the world. There is no duality. No thoughts will arise to disturb your peace. This is the realization of the self. The self is eternal, and so also is realization. So what does that mean? There is no self-realization. It's eternal. It's always there. Spiritual practice consists in withdrawal within the self every time you are disturbed by thought. It is not concentration or destruction of the mind, but withdrawal into the self. Why is concentration ineffective? To ask the mind to kill the mind. Oh, here you go, right here. To asking the mind to kill the mind is like making the thief the policeman. He will go with you and pretend to catch the thief, but nothing will be gained. So you must turn inward and see from where the mind rises, and then it will cease to exist. And turning the mind inwards, are we still not employing the mind? Of course, we're employing the mind. It is well known and admitted that only with the help of the mind can the mind be killed. But instead of setting about saying there is a mind and I want to kill it, you begin to seek the source of the mind. And you find the mind does not exist at all. The mind turned inward results in thoughts and objects. No, the mind turned outwards results in thoughts and objects. Turned inwards, it becomes itself the self. Oh my God, dude is not bullshitting, y'all. What the fuck? What? Even so, I do not understand. I, you say, is the wrong I now. How to eliminate the wrong I? You need not eliminate the wrong I. How can I eliminate? How can I eliminate itself? All that you need to do is find its origin and abide there. Your efforts can extend only thus far. Then beyond, then the beyond will take care of itself. You are helpless there. No effort can reach it. If I am always here and now, why do I not feel so? That is it. Who says it is not felt? Does the real I say it or the false I? Examine that. You will find it. You will find it is the wrong I. The wrong I is the obstruction. It has to be removed in order that the true I may not be hidden. The feeling that I have not realized is the obstruction to realization. The feeling that I have not realized. Do you hear this? The feeling that you have not realized the self is an obstruction to self realization. In fact, it is already realized, and there is nothing more to be realized. There is nothing more to be realized. There is nothing more to be realized. Otherwise, the realization will be new. It will be something new. If it has not existed so far, it must take place hereafter. What is born will also die. If realization is not eternal, it is not worth having. God damn, dude, hit him with them bars. Therefore, that we seek is not that which must happen afresh. It is only that which is eternal, but not now known due to obstructions. It's eternal, but you can't realize it because you have obstructions. Remember, we were talking about the five chiefs over on Trav channel the other day. These antibody kosher, prebiotic kosher, big antibody kosher. Those are the obstructions. Due to the obstructions, it is that which we seek. All that we need to do is remove the obstruction. That which is eternal is not known to be so because of ignorance. Ignorance is the obstruction. Get over the ignorance and all will be well. All will be well. The ignorance is the denial. Hold up. The ignorance is identical with the I thought. Find its source and it will vanish. The I thought is like a spirit which, although not palpable, rises up simultaneously with the body, flourishes, and disappears with it. The body consciousness is the wrong I. Give up this body consciousness. It is done by seeking the source of the I. The body does not say, I am. It is you who say, I am the body. Find out who this I is. Seeking the source, and it will vanish. Question: how long can the mind stay or be kept in the heart? The period extends by practice. What happens at the end of this period? The mind returns to the present normal state. Unity in the heart is replaced by a variety of perceived phenomena. This is called the outgoing mind. The heart-going mind is called the resting mind. When one daily practices or practices, when one daily practices more and more in this manner, the mind will become extremely pure due to the removal of its defects, and the practice will become so easy that the purified mind will purge into the heart as soon as the inquiry is commenced. I ain't even gonna say nothing, y'all. Never mind. Let's read some of these comments. Zero said, who is that is enlightened? There are no enlightened beings, just enlightenment, because there is no one to get enlightened. There is no one to get enlightened. Be your yogi, right? Be your own guru. Man, he's really breaking down facts. The source of the code of the matrix, and the matrix would be no more. Find the source code of the matrix, and the matrix would be no more. Come on now, Coop. Fat mind, LOL. That mind could use a good fast and facts. That's the plot twist. Become the detective. Today's episode: who is the self? The cop helping you on the chase is covering up something. And if you downloaded that PDF, that's what you get from it. That's what you get from it. I wrote it in a certain way. I wrote it got come on, man. Y'all see it when y'all click the PDF that's linked to the this pin in the chat. That's why Crowley said you get into the point where you see the mind as just a toy. All want to swallow. Question. Yes. I mean, okay. Hold on. The I thought is like a spirit which, although not palpable, rises up simultaneously with the body. Do you hear that? The I thought is like a spirit which also is not palpable, rises up simultaneously with the body, flourishes, and then disappears with it. The body consciousness is the wrong I. The body consciousness is the wrong I. Give up this body consciousness. It is done by seeking the source of the I. The body does not say I am. It is you who say I am the body. Find out who this I is. Seeking its source, it will vanish, right? How long can the mind stay or be kept in the heart? The period extends by practice. What happens at the end of this period? The mind returns to its present normal state. Unity in the heart. Unity in the heart is replaced by a variety of perceived phenomena. This is called the outgoing mind. The heart-going mind is called the resting mind. When the daily practice is more and when one daily practice when one daily practices more and more in this manner, the mind will become extremely pure due to the removal of the defects of the practice. And the practice will become so easy that the mind is purified and will plunge into the heart as soon as the inquiry is commenced. Question: is it possible for a person who once has had the experience of Satchitananda in meditation to identify himself with the body when out of meditation? Yes, it is possible, but he gradually loses his identification in the course of his practice. And the floodlight of the self, the darkness of illusion, dissipates forever. Experience gained without rooting out all vasanas cannot remain steady. Effort must be made to eradicate the vasanas. Knowledge can only remain unshaken after all the vasanas are rooted out. Do these tendencies gradually, or would they suddenly all disappear one day? I ask this because although I have remained here for a long time, I do not perceive any gradual change in me. When the sun rises, does darkness go gradually or all at once? How can I feel if I am making progress with my inquiry? The degree of absence of thought is the measure of your progress towards self-realization. But self-realization itself does not admit of progress. It is ever the same. The self remains always in realization. The obstacles are thoughts. Progress is measured by the degree of removal of obstacles to understand that the self is always realized. So thoughts must be checked by seeking to whom they arise. So you go to their source where they do not arise. Mhm. The Vasana exterminator. He says the degree of absence of thought is the measure of your progress towards self realization. We cannot go without highlighting that. But self realization itself does not admit progress, it is ever the same. The self remains always in realization. The obstacles are thoughts. You hear that? The self always remains in realization. The obstacles are thoughts. Progress is measured by the degree of removal of obstacles to understanding the self, to understanding that the self is always realized. So when a motherfucker know that there is no self-realization, when a motherfucker really has a conviction that there is no journey, when a motherfucker really, really knows and really, really abides in it, that's what we're talking about the progress. That's when we're talking about self-realization. So thoughts must be checked by seeking to whom they arise. So you go to their source where they do not arise. Question: doubts are always arising, hence my questions. A doubt arising, a doubt arises and is clear. Another arises, and that is clear, making way for yet another. So it goes on. So there's no possibility of clearing away all doubts. See to whom those doubts arise. We're going to always point you back. Go to their source and abide in it. then they cease to arise. This is how doubts are cleared, my nigga. You don't focus on the doubts. Same thing he was telling you about the thoughts. You don't focus on the thoughts and keep focusing on thoughts because that's going to produce more thoughts. You don't focus on the doubts. Ask to who are these doubts arising? So, questioner says, should I go on asking who am I without answering? Who asks whom? Which attitude should be in the mind at the time of inquiry? What is I, the self or the ego? In the inquiry, who am I? I is the ego. When you're doing self-inquiry, the I is the ego. The question really means, what is the source or origin of the ego? You you need to have you need not have any attitude in the mind. All that is required is that you must give up the attitude that you are the body of such and such a description, which with such and such a name, etc. There is no need to have an attitude about your real nature. It exists as it always does. It is the real and no attitude. But it is not funny. But is it not funny that the I should be searching for the I? Does not the inquiry, who am I, turn out in the end to be a empty formula? Or am I to put the question to myself endlessly, repeating it like some mantra? Self-inquiry is certainly not an empty formula, and it is more than the and it is more than the and it is more than the representation of the repetition of any mantra. If the inquiry, who am I, were a mere mental questioning, it would not be found of much value. The very purpose of self inquiry is to focus on the entire mind at its source. It is not, therefore, a case of one I search. No, it is not a case of one. It is not a case of one eye searching for another eye. Much less is self inquiry an empty formula, for it involves an intense activity of the entire mind to keep it steadily poised in the pure self awareness. Questioner says, is it enough if I spend time in the mornings and times in the evenings for this Atma Vichara? Or should I do it always? And when even when I'm writing or walking? What is your real nature? Is it writing, walking, or being? The one unalterable reality is being. It's being. Until you realize that the state of pure being you should pursue with inquiry. Until you realize that state of pure being, you should pursue the inquiry. If once you are established in it, hold up. If once you are established in it, there will be no further worry. No one would inquire into the source of thoughts unless thoughts arise. So long as you think I am walking or I am writing, inquire who does it. If I go on rejoicing thoughts, can I have Vicharya? It may be a stepping stone, but really Vicharya begins when you cling to the self and are already off the mental movement, the thought waves. Then Vicharya is not intellectual. No, it is Antarya Vicharya. It is an inner quest. Holding the mind and investigating it is advised for a beginner. But what is the mind after all? It is a projection of the self. It is a projection of the self. See from whom it appears and from where it arises. The I thought would be found to be the root cause. Go deeper. The I thought disappears, and there is an infinitely expanded I consciousness. Question that says, I asked mother in a Sri Aurobindo ashram the following questions. I keep my mind blank without thoughts arising, so that God might show himself in the true being, but I do not perceive anything. The reply was to this effect. Let's see what she says. The attitude is right. The power will come down from above. It is a direct experience. Should I do anything for further? Be what you are. There is nothing to come down or become manifest. All that is necessary is to lose the ego, that which is always there. Even now, you are that. You are not apart from it. The blank is seen by you. You are the you are you are there to see the blank. What do you wait for? The thought I have not seen? Expectation, the expectation to see and desire getting something are all workings of the ego. Don't you hear that with Trav too? Motherfucker trying to focus on seeing a God, seeing a deed. I want to see it. I want to see it and all that. Come on, man. Hold up, y'all. So let's read that last one again. The answer is be what you are. There is nothing to come down or become manifest. There is nothing to come down or become manifest. All that is necessary is to lose the ego. You're doing all this super powerful spiritual work and all this super powerful fucking rituals when all you gotta do is drop the ego, bro. All you gotta do is drop the fucking ego. That which is always there. Even now, you are that. You are not apart from it. The blank is seen by you. You are there to see the blank. What do you wait for? The thought I have not seen, the expectation to see, and the desire of getting something are all the workings of the ego. Are all the workings of the ego. The expectation to see something and the desire of getting something are all the work. Do you see how the ego is just tricking you out of every fucking thing? This is what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying, man. So you tell a motherfucker ain't no spiritual journey, they gonna fight you tooth and nail. Colin Pusby say on the road tapped in. Okay, bet. And I think this is our last page. Yeah, this is our last page. We done after this. We have to read that again. Let's read his question again. He said he asked the mother in the ashram the following questions. I keep my mind blank without thoughts arising, so that God might show himself to me in his true being. But I do not perceive anything. The reply was to this effect. The attitude is right. The power will come down from above. It is a direct experience. That's what the teacher told him. That teacher that he went to go see, that's what the teacher told him. And then he asked, should I do anything further to Sri Ramana? And Ramana's replies was this. Be what you are. There is nothing to come down or become manifest. There is nothing to come down and manifest. You are already it. You waiting for some divine holy intervention to come down and zap you with all the fucking knowledge. But you are already that knowledge. There is nothing to come down and come manifest. All that is necessary is to lose the ego, that which is already there. Even though, even now you are that, you are not apart from it. The blank is seen by you. You that seeing the blank, you are that which is viewing the blank. You are there to see the blank. What do you wait for? Are you waiting for the thought of I have not seen? The expectation to see and the desire of getting something are all the workings of the ego. You've seen too many motherfucking Harry Potter movies, thinking this is the most magical shit, shooting zip zaps and shit and doing all of that. You're not waiting for nothing. You have fallen into snares of the ego. The ego says all this and not you. Be yourself and nothing more. Once born, you reach something. If you reach it, you return also. Therefore, leave off all this verbiage, all this word games you're doing. Leave it and just be as you are. See who you are and remain as the self. Free from birth, going, coming, and returning. Question: how is one to know the self? Knowing the self means being the self. You see what I'm saying? You don't know the self. That's why it's a tricky thing. It's not the name of the game is know thyself, but you're really not knowing yourself. Once you know yourself, you're actually not knowing any goddamn thing. All you're doing is realizing, and now you just remain as being the self. That's it. You stop remaining or believing that you are the body and the mind and the ego. That's why I say if you understand the mind, the 5 elements and the 3 gunas, you understand this whole play. And you have defeated the fucking ego. You have defeated the fucking illusion. Can you say that you do not know the self? Though you cannot see your own eyes, and though not provided with a mirror to look in it, do you deny the existence of your fucking eyes, bro? No, you don't. Knowing the self means being the self. Can you say that you do not know yourself? Can you really say that you do not know yourself? Because here's the trick about consciousness or the cosmic P. You know it. You already have a realization of it. But you are letting your mind trick you into thinking you got a spiritual journey to go on. You got shit to overcome and then become and then move on up, become this level, and then now you are it. But that's the trick. You already are it. Just like you say, you cannot see your eyes. Think about that. We already had that conversation, how you can never really see your eyes. I can look at your eyes and you can look at my eyes, but I'll never see my eyes the way you see my eyes. You will never see your eyes the way I see your eyes. The only way you'll be able to see it is in a mirror, and that's a distortion. But let's just say you can't even put a mirror in front of your eyes. Do you deny that you have eyes, nigga? No. Similarly, you are aware of the self even though the self is not objectified. That's what the ego wants you to do. The ego is going to continuously try to get you to objectify some shit, turn it into an object to be grasped and had. You don't grasp the self. You don't own the self. You don't get a piece of the self. You are not a part of the self. You're not a part of consciousness. You are not a part of the cosmic P. You are the P. Stand on it. Be it, nigga. Stand on it and be it. The ego and the mind is always trying to objectify something. That's where we get signs and symbols from. It's always trying to objectify something. Or do you deny yourself because it is not objectified? When you say I cannot know the self, it means absence in terms of relative knowledge. That's it. That's it. You will say you don't know the self yet, or you're trying to get it because you ain't got it in relative knowledge terms. You ain't got it in intellectual knowledge terms. You can't say ABC 1, 2, 3 about this shit. So now you feel like you don't got it. Are you getting what's being said here? Like, I think you niggas need to really sit and think about what the fuck is being said here. I don't want to give you my rendition of it because I want you to have your own. Listen to what he's saying. You trying to go around and objectify. There's nothing to be objectified. And everything that you ever have known is something about objectifying something. When you say, I got it, you typically saying, I got it, like, oh, I got it in my hands. You have objectified it. It's not a question of objectifying. You're not going to objectify it. You're going to believe that you can't have it or you don't have it because you don't have it in relative terms of knowledge. This is why people, it's hard, right? This is why it's hard for the human mind. Let me make sure I say it in this term. This is why it's hard for your average human mind or your average spiritual seeker to get this shit. Because they're trying to objectify something. Why you think everybody tries to identify with a god, or everybody tries to identify with some symbol? Because they need something to objectify. It's not a question of getting this shit objectively. Look, he said in the next sentence, look, shit, because you have been so accustomed to relative knowledge that you identify yourself with it. This is the, bro. You're going to let your mind think you out of it. You're going to let your mind think you out of it. It's a realization, y'all. This is not some signs and symbols that you get when you go into meditation and have some deep realization about it. And now you feel like you got it. This is not that. This is not that, bro. So much I want to say, but like I need you to have your own rendition of it. Because the real truth about all of this shit sounds so counterintuitive, sounds so contradictive. There's nothing for you to do. Literally. You niggas is so, this basically what he's saying right here. You so accustomed to relative knowledge. You so accustomed to intellectual shit. You niggas is too intellectual. You too fucking intellectual. Which means you too egotistical. Which means you too mind. You too much of the motherfucking mind. But he's saying everything I'm saying is the next sentence. Listen, so wrong, such wrong identity has forged the difficulty of knowing the obvious self because it cannot be objectified. And then you ask, how is one to know the self, man? Come on, man. I end this fucking live stream right here. Don't even finish it, bro. I'm saying this because I get it. I get it so much that I don't got it. I just realize I am it. You have to just realize that shit, bro. This is not your day-to-day average spiritual mumbo jumbo. I'm not breaking down what pi means. I'm not breaking down melanin. I'm not breaking down what Mars and what's in that. None of this shit has been talked about. Has nothing to do with none of that shit. This is for the motherfucker who says, fuck all that shit. I get it. It's cool to learn that shit. But nigga, who the fuck am I? Man, where my Bobby Hemmett at? I'm finna let this shit play. Where's my Bobby Hemmett at?
You get this shit? 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 You get this shit?
Because all of that shit has nothing to do with the motherfucking soul. All that other shit is cool intellectual shit. That's it. That's it. It's nothing but intellectual shit. I'm talking to those who really get what the fuck I'm saying here. Some people do not really get this shit. That's fucking fine. You will. And guess what? If you don't, it don't matter because you are it. I'm not fucking, this human body mind is not fucking special. You are the same shit. Come on, man. You too used to objectifying it. When this God principle, this cosmic P, this absolute, this consciousness cannot be objectified. You niggas is too intellectual. Us humans have become overly intellectual. Human beings have become overly intellectual. That shit is not superior. You're not going to get knowledge of the self. You're not going to know the self. You're not going to recognize and just start being the self. You're too caught up in what should I do this and should I do that and should I do this and should I do that? Because you've become an objectifying fucking monster. That's the contradiction of being in the age of information. Now that all the information is out, now you got too much motherfucking information. And now you got so much information, you can't help but build up all these objectifiable concepts. Not once in this story have you heard a motherfucker talk about the Illuminati. Not once have you heard a motherfucker talk about a secret society. And people stole some information and hid it from the people. Not once have you heard a motherfucker talk about the social injustice, a motherfucker's gender and sexuality. Not once. Well, we only in chapter 5, but still. This is the most simplest shit ever. Because who you are is the most apparent shit ever. It's not a question of how do I know the self. That's what they mean by the ignorant. You even by even asking that question.
All that old bullshit ain't got shit to do with the goddamn soul. All that old bullshit ain't got shit to do with the goddamn soul. All that old bullshit ain't got shit to do with the goddamn soul.
None of it has anything to do with the motherfucking soul, bro. We're finna get ready to wrap this shit up, man. Let's finish it off. Let's finish this shit off. Bro. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap, bro. This shit is over. Really, this shit is over. Need you niggas to get that shit, man. I ain't checking the comments yet. Give me a second. Question. You talk of being. Being what? Your duty is to be and not to be this or that. See, it's just to be. Not the rest of the sentence. Not a sentence, just a word. Be. Not, oh, I am being a good person, a bad person. I am being a magician. Being an occultist. I'm being a spiritual person. I'm being a spiritual seeker. I'm being straight. I'm being lesbian. I'm being gay. I'm being hungry. I'm being full. I'm being sick. I'm being mad. I'm being hot. I'm being cool. Not all of that. Just be. I am that. I am sums up the whole truth. This method is summed up in the words, be still. What does stillness means? It means destroy yourself. How many of you niggas want to destroy yourself? I bet you niggas don't want to destroy yourself. I mean, y'all know I'm talking in general here, not to people in the chat, just in general. Because this is the same way I would talk to myself. Because any form of shape is the cause of trouble. Are you hearing this? Any form or shape is the cause of trouble. Give up the notion that I am so and so. Give up the notion that I am so and so. All that it was required to realize the self is to be still. And it don't literally mean be still, like sit the fuck down. It means be still in your beingness. Just be that pure being. You just have to be that pure being. He said it here. What can be easier than that? What can be easier than that? What all these schools of thought you feel like you got to go through? What is all of that? What can be easier than being what you already are, bruh? Hence, Atma Vichara, self-knowledge, is the easiest to obtain. The truth of oneself alone is worthy to be scrutinized and known. The truth of oneself alone is worthy of being scrutinized and known. Taking it as the target of one's attention, one should keenly know it in the heart. That's why it's hard to explain, bro. This knowledge of oneself will be revealed only to the consciousness which is silent, clear, and free from the activity of the agitated and suffering mind. Know that the consciousness which always shines in the heart as the formless self or the I, in which is known by one's being, still without thinking about anything as existent or non-existent, alone is the perfect reality. What else is there to do, my niggas? Let's read these comments. Let's get it. I ain't a goddamn thing. I ain't got a goddamn thing to say. Facts. Facts. 7 grand say, let's go. Let's fucking go. Come on, gang. The eternal expression of the universe is love. We are love. Kevin Bell says. And if you don't get it, you'll understand it better by and by, like the old spiritual Negro hymn. Oh, like the sweet by and by. Yeah, okay, facts, Sadia, facts. Cool said, damn, I gotta put my mind in permanent time out. Facts. Just go on over there somewhere, man. Might have studied that. Sit your ass on down over there in the corner. You in timeout. Let's read this one more time up here, bro. Just for those in the back or those who just now joined. If y'all haven't, y'all know y'all supposed to hit that goddamn like button. Y'all, come on up there. Hit that like button. Let's read this one more time because we done. Next week, we'll be doing chapter 6. The misconceptions of self-inquiry. Pete, what this man just said. I don't know what the fuck is up with Navy Fed, bro, but whatever. Knowing the self means being the self. It means being the self. Knowing the self means just being the self. Can you say that you do not know the self? Though you cannot see your own eyes, and though not provided with a mirror to look in, do you deny the existence of your eyes? Similarly, you are aware of the self, even though the self is not objectified. You too caught up with your fucking intellect, trying to objectify something that is the ultimate subject. You can't objectify it. You're not going to get it by staring into some fucking images and trying to be this image and do this ritual and doing all of this, and then having to break it down like 3.14 actually equals the 666 of the melanin and this and this and this and that. And oh yeah, I know how Mars came into being and then the Aquarius did this. You're not going to get it with this objectified knowledge. You're not. Or do you deny the self because it's not objectified? Right? So do you deny yourself because you can't objectify it? When you say I cannot know the self, it means absence in terms of relative knowledge. That means you saying you can't get it because you can't understand it in an objective way of relative knowledge. You think this shit is some mathematics. You think it's divine mathematics of the fucking universe. And that's the way that you're going to get to know the self. That's not it. That's all intellectual shit. I don't give a fuck how much it decodes the fucking matrix. It's still, the matrix is made up of numbers. So how are you going to use the numbers that the matrix that was created inside the matrix to decode this shit? You're not going to be able to do that. You're trying to use objective knowledge to understand or become one with the divine. When you figure out you are already that which is the most divine of the divines. Come on, man. So what does he say? Because you have been so accustomed to relative knowledge that you identify yourself with. You've been so accustomed to your fucking intellect, you identify yourself with the fucking intellect. You are not the fucking intellect. You have objectified yourself with the intellect. And because you cannot know the self through objective relative knowledge, intellectual knowledge, mathematical equations, signs and symbols, you have put up the blockage for you to realize your true nature. Not no fucking Illuminati. Not no motherfucking aliens that come in Lil and all them. They not doing shit. No egregores. Not no demiurge. They not doing shit. It's you and your fucking intellect. Is why you cannot realize the self. Why you cannot know thyself. Because you really think you're supposed to know something. There's nothing about knowing here with the self. It's being. It's pure being. This is what has halted the spiritual communities across the globe. Such wrong identity has forged the difficulty of not knowing the obvious self because it cannot be objectified. And then you talking about, how do I know myself? How do I know God? Become one with God, become one with source. Whatever cool word any human being wants to use. It can't be objectified. So that's why you don't get it. You want objective knowledge. And that's not going to work. That's why these teachers would turn niggas, go your ass over there. Take your ass over there. Or do this. Stop playing games, man. Stop playing games. So there would not be no talk of how is one to know the self. There's no talk of that. It's just being it. That's what they mean by when they say there's nothing to do. You just be as you are. What you already are, what you always have been. That's why you're not asking questions of how should I treat other people. There are no other people. No other people exist. You as a person don't even fucking exist. I hope niggas get it. If niggas don't get it, hey man. That will conclude Know Thyself Sunday service. That is it. I was falling asleep, but to the end, that last part woke me the fuck up. That last part woke me the fuck up. And if y'all have paid attention to the PDF, this is what y'all got. So take this and read this on your motherfucking own. Take y'all ass and read that on your own. Let's see if I can pull a video up though. I'll play that at the end and let it end like that. Yeah. Take y'all ass and read that on your own at home. Gang. He ended that shit so perfectly with that. Right, Zero. Damn.
Today, we're diving into the teachings of a spiritual master whose path was, well, shockingly direct. He didn't build complicated philosophies or hand out a long list of rituals. Nope. Instead, he pointed to something we overlook every single second of the day, our own sense of I. It's a journey that doesn't start with some grand quest, but with one single powerful question.
That's it. This one question, who am I, is the absolute heart of Ramana Maharshi's entire teaching. It's the method and it's the goal. He argued that the answer isn't something you're going to find in a book or from a guru. The only way to find it is to trace this fundamental feeling of I all the way back to its source. I mean, this man lived a life of just radical simplicity. For years, he hardly spoke at all. He believed his most powerful teaching wasn't in words, but in a silent presence that could actually quiet the minds of the people who came to see him. And when he did speak, it was always to push people away from abstract theories and guide them straight to the direct experience of their own being.
Okay, so if the truth of who we are is so close, if it's right here, why don't we see it? Well, Ramana said it's because we're all making one huge fundamental mistake, a mistake that's at the root of pretty much all our suffering.
And there it is. That's the big mix-up. We just automatically, without a second thought, assume that I am this body, that I am the nonstop chatter in my head. We think we are our thoughts, our emotions, our physical body. Ramana says that this simple, mistaken identity is the only chain holding us down. And to prove his point, he gives us this really fascinating clue. Just think about deep, dreamless sleep. I mean, everybody loves it, right? In that state, your body doesn't exist, the world is gone, all your problems, your anxieties, poof, gone. And yet, what do you experience? Pure happiness. No cause, just peace. For Ramana, this was the ultimate proof that happiness is our default setting, it's our true nature, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what's happening on the outside.
This analogy is just perfect. Think about it. Our life, the waking state, the dream state, the deep sleep state, it's all like a movie being projected onto a screen. You can have images of a raging fire or a massive flood, but does the screen get burned? Does it get wet? Never! Ramana's whole point is that you are the screen. You are the awareness that is always there, completely untouched by the drama that's playing out on you.
So the big question is, how do we stop getting lost in the movie and realize we're the screen? Well, Ramana didn't just point out the problem. He gave us a very direct, very practical tool to fix it. He called it the path of inquiry.
He called this method self-enquiry, or vichara. Now this is really important. This isn't about just repeating who am I over and over again like a parrot, and it's definitely not about trying to come up with some clever intellectual answer. It's about grabbing hold of that core feeling of I, that simple sense that you exist, and turning all of your attention inward to find out where that feeling is coming from.
It's all about focused awareness. So here's how you actually do it. Any thought comes up, let's say it's, oh man, I'm feeling anxious. The moment you notice it, you ask, to whom has this anxiety come? And the answer, of course, is always, to me. That's the critical moment. You then relentlessly chase that me with the ultimate question, who am I? The mind, which always wants to flow outward, is forced to turn around and look at itself. And when it does that, the original thought just fizzles out, it loses its energy.
And this really gets to the profound simplicity of it all. Ramana taught that even just holding on to that feeling of I, that continuous awareness of your own being is enough. That alone will lead you to the self. He even said that I is the first and greatest name of God because it's the very first thought that ever arises, and it's the source of every other thought that follows.
Okay, so what happens when this practice starts to work? What's the end goal? This is so key. The self is not something new that you're going to get. It's not a prize you win. It's simply the recognition of what has been there, right here, all along. We've just been looking the other way.
To explain this, Ramana used this wonderful little parable. So imagine you've got 10 kind of clueless guys. They all cross a big river together, and when they get to the other side, they want to make sure everyone made it safely.
So one of the men steps up and starts counting his buddies. 1, 2, 3, 9. He panics. Oh no, we lost someone. So another guy tries, and he also counts 9. Total chaos ensues. They're all crying, convinced one of their friends drowned. Just then, a traveler walks by and asks what's wrong. He immediately sees the hilarious mistake they're making. He tells them to line up, and he walks down the line, giving each one a little tap on the head as he counts out loud. 1, 2, 3, all the way to the last man, and he shouts 10! And just like that, they're overjoyed. Their sorrow vanishes in an instant.
And here's Ramana's brilliant punchline. Was the 10th man ever actually lost? No way. He was there the whole time. He was just being forgotten by the person doing the counting. And Ramana says that our search for the self is exactly like this. We are the thing we're looking for. The self was never lost, so it can't be found. All we have to do is stop overlooking it. Our ignorance is imaginary.
So this self, which in Sanskrit is called Swarupa, is simply our true state of being. It's what's left when that little individual I thought, the ego, doesn't pop up. It's not a thing you can know with your mind. It's a state of pure being, pure consciousness, pure bliss. Ramana also called it Mona, which means silence. But not just the absence of noise. It's the deep, profound stillness that exists underneath the entire storm of thought. Now, a person who lives in this state is called a jnani, or a sage. They don't just sit in a cave, they act in the world, but the big difference is they do it without any sense that I am doing this. Their actions just flow. Ramana used this great analogy. You know how when you switch off a ceiling fan, the blades keep spinning for a little while because of momentum? It's like that. The sage's body continues its activities because of past momentum or karma, but the ego, the doer, has been switched off.
Realizing the self isn't just some personal, internal shift. It fundamentally transforms your entire view of reality. We're talking about a complete change in how you see the world, suffering, free will, even God. Let's just look at this contrast. To the regular mind, the world is a solid place filled with separate objects. But for the realized self, the entire world is just an appearance happening within consciousness. Suffering goes from being this huge personal problem you have to solve to being seen as an illusion created by the mind. The struggle of free will, which causes so much stress, it just disappears because actions are seen to flow from a higher power. And God is no longer some separate being you pray to out there. God is realized as the formless self that is right here. And, in the end, Ramana said the specific path you take doesn't really matter as much as the goal. Whether you use this direct investigation of who am I, or the path of devotion and total surrender, the Bhakti Marga, the destination is exactly the same. The complete and utter dissolving of that false, separate sense of I. Which brings us right back to where we started. Ramana's teaching really leaves us with this one final, mind-bending question. If happiness is already what we are, if it was never lost in the first place, then what in the world is this frantic search that we're all on? Maybe the only thing we ever need to find is the one who's doing the searching.
And that, my friend, is it. Peace, love, and motherfucking hair grease. And I know what time it is. We out this bitch.